This earth is your earth, this earth is my earth. From the people of Africa to the folks in Europe, from the Israelis to the Palestinians, this earth supports everybody. And as we're learning ever so gradually to get along with those who have their differences, like different languages. 6,909. This earth supports diversity. It reminded me of a trip I took to India, where it was the first time I was ever in a culture where death was treated nonchalantly. Like it just was not a big deal, and not something to avoid, not something to resist, not something to worship in any way, but certainly not something to fear. And I love the way the flight attendant on the airline from going from Calcutta to New Delhi was so nonchalant about her instructions. She said something like, "In the event of a crash landing, please exit your body through the crown chakra and start going down the tunnel to the light. If this happens, we want to thank you in advance for dying Air India, where we have transitioned more passengers than any other airline. Last year, even surpassing Reunited. And if you're not a member, please sign up for our frequent Dyer program." Now, there were three things Reverend Abigail asked me to cover before going into my thing, and one of them was, what is our age? How old are you? And my answer is, it depends on how much you're identified with the human form, with the body, because the body ages. But if you know yourself as spirit, then you know yourself as timeless, as ageless, as eternal. And that's the spiritual journey we're on. We have these bodies. There are vessels. There are spacesuits. We treat them well. We treat them with kindness, but we don't identify with them. I recommend not saying I am 55 years old, but forgetting about age altogether, or saying this body is 55, but eternally my soul is about 16. And is in forever rebellion from any rules. I was also invited to just say a few words about 100 years of science of mind. And I have absolutely nothing to say about that except happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. You know what I love about science of mind is that we have this Ernest Holmes, and he brought in science to religion. He brought in like a grounded way of approaching things. But the churches have evolved as he would have wanted. He wouldn't have wanted a static thing, which turns into a cult. He would want teachers to come along and move the energy upwards and expand upon it. And it's grown. And now we have Brene Brown teaching us about vulnerability and all of these teachings that weren't in Science of Mind originally. And we're borrowing from the best of the thinkers and teachers of the day. Michael Beckwith, certainly, when he just does his downloads, it's coming from a very, very, very free place, beyond any ideology, beyond any ism, whether it be, CSL has a little bit of an ism to it. We have less dogma than most places, but, I think we're learning to let the dogma aside and just let the truth come in. And the truth is, it just makes you tingle, and it gets you out of your head, and it opens up your heart. And you don't just walk out here feeling intellectually better. You actually have a transmission of energy, and that's more important than whether you believe in what Ernest Holmes had to say 100 years ago. So are you with me? What else do I need to cover? Is there one more thing? I did say, I did, I've already done three things?
No, you did two, so you lied.
Okay. I lied.
We all do that.
She gave me three things she asked to throw in. Something about what's the theme of the month?
Oh, yes.
The theme of the month. I guess.
We're all looking like we don't know what the theme of the month is.
When spirituality meets divinity?
Yes.
When human.
April, where humanity and divinity meet. That's
Okay, so that's the theme of April, and we'll keep that in mind as I share with you what I'm here to share with you which is, you tell me. So this is the way it goes. Have you ever walked out of here going, God, Abigail spoke directly to me. It felt like the sermon was designed just for what I needed to hear. Well, today you get to do that intentionally by saying, Scott, speak or sing to us on, and then give me a sentence or two about what's going on with you, or this is like Gabron the prophet when they said, speak to us on blah blah blah. Except I'd like your request to be more personal, because the more vulnerable you are, the more I can give back to you. So take a breath if you need to. Close your eyes, and ask yourself, what do I truly need? What would be the most nourishing thing I could be talked to about and nurtured, and what would float my boat and give it wings on this beautiful Sunday?
mine would be patience.
Okay, we'll get to you. I'm so joking, but let's see what comes out of me, and it may involve singing, it may not, but the first words are, patience is passion and excitement mixed in with some fear. And your job with impatience is to stroke the passion, to validate the passion, to be excited about how excited you are, but then to just notice and bring to the conscious mind, I'm scared that I'm not going to get this. I'm scared that I'm going to miss it. I'm scared that I'm screwing it up. Name your fears that are causing it to be an experience of discomfort that we call impatience. Let's procrastinate being impatient. Just let it go for a while. It's like we have an inner child demanding it now. Let's open our hands. Let's make a new vow. Not my will, but thine. It's all in your time. Your timing is wise, so why would I question your time? It's coming sooner than I think. So let me stop thinking and just receive. Open mind and hands. I don't understand, but I know there is a plan of timing, opening my hands, trusting in the plan, trusting in the perfect timing now. I'm reminded of a line in A Course in Miracles which says, only perfect patience will give you perfect joy right now. Something like that. So, was that helpful? Anybody else get some help from that? Inspiration, delight? Okay. Yes. sweetheart. Yeah. Well, it certainly is our true nature, and we sort of been cultured, parented and cultured, a school system and all of that, to think for the future and do what's right or do what you should do and have all the things on your to-do list, on your should list, whacked off, checked off before you can do play, joy, and laughter. And the funny thing about that should list is that once you check everything off, 2 new things magically appear on your your emails and your cell phone and your text. The should list never ends. And at some point, you just got to commit to joy and fun because they are your lifeblood to your relationship to the divine. The divine is always having a good time, and the divine doesn't mind when you join in the dance and take a chance and find that romance comes from within. And there is no sin to wear a shit-eating grin, to just love the laughter and the joy of the child coming out as an adult. It makes you forever young. It makes you forever one. And now, this particular sermon is time. Indeed. No, I'm not done yet with you guys. I mean the communication about joy and laughter. Yeah. Yeah, so speak to us on.
I've been working trying to understand spiritual grace.
You need to work harder.
Yeah.
Well, I know that working harder doesn't always get it.
But what are you trying to you're trying to feel the energies around you?
Trying to understand it in some way, shape, or form. So it's to me they're just kind of new words.
Spiritual grace. So is your hope that if you understand it, you'll actually feel it? Because I'm remembering that Werner Erhard said, understanding is the booby prize. When you die, there's two doors. One says heaven, and the other says lecture on heaven. And many people think they need to get the lecture first, and so they open that door and they find themselves in hell. So spiritual grace are words that mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I think if you were honest with yourself, you'd really want the experience, not just the understanding. You know, you just don't want to be able to talk the talk at spiritual cocktail parties. You want to be able to have a very intimate, divine experience of spiritual grace. So let's do that. Let's set the stage. Let's set the stage and be willing to be face to face with the gift of spiritual grace that has me surrounded and is my biology. Every cell knows all is well. Every cell knows all is well. And I'm opening up to see that spiritual grace is in me. I'm opening up to feel that grace. I'm opening up to reveal that grace. It's been playing hide and seek, and I've been a little bit meek. I've been shy. I've been asking why instead of asking for it directly, making connection right here in this moment while I'm stumbling, trying to understand. Spiritual grace is holding my hand, sitting on my lap, never taking a nap, never believing my crap. Spiritual grace is waiting for my intellect to get bored, so I can soar, soaring in the arms of grace, soaring in the charms of grace. We've got you surrounded, you may as well surrender and come out with your heart open wide. You've been living too long inside, come on out to grace. Mm-hmm. Yes. Embracing change, it happens every day. Things I get attached to somehow go away. Embracing loss, it happens every day. Like when the night erases the sun from the day. Help me see it's natural, nothing to freak about, my friends. Every beginning has a middle and then has an end. When we're in time, everything dissolves, but there's no problem to solve. Just let go. Every day, every moment, every breath is a little death, little chance to practice the romance of letting go. Every breath is another letting go. Thank you. I have about 7 more minutes, if I say so. Yes.
Several of my friends were telling me the problem with me is that I'm afraid visiting mom is being too afraid. I said being afraid.
Hey, could you tone it down? You're making me uncomfortable. Tone it down and please be more polite. Tone down your aliveness so I can be miserable without you in sight. Be one of the flock, this smile better stop. You're making me aware of how much pain I have. Stop with all that radiance, stop with all that innocence now. And if they ask you that, I'd say, no way, Jose. I'm here to love, laugh, and play. If it makes you nauseous, then go throw up. I'll get some new friends that I can love. I want to leave you with one of my Dr. Seuss poems. I kind of have become the spiritual Dr. Seuss, as many of you know. And by the way, these when I do songs that speak to you, that are born that are born in the moment, they're called mini song portraits. And I use that gift mostly when people want to give songs away for their friends' birthdays, their beloved retirement. He had a song for his daughter's graduation. And so anytime there's a special occasion and you really want somebody in your life to know how much you love them, consider getting what I call a song portrait, which is not born in the moment. It's actually you write out the answers to some questions that I send you. We have a little phone consultation, and I craft a song with your input and your feedback. So anyway, my cards or something on my table will have information about that. I'd like to close with a poem about fear. How many people experience fear once in a while? If you're human and you're not experiencing fear, check your pulse, please. Now, let's go on a journey, and by the end of this journey, I think fear will be gone from this room. Fear be gone. So, let's go on a journey. Turn down the lights, and I'm just getting the first line. Gather, my friends, because the end times are near. Not the end of the world, but the end of your fear. So turn down the lights, make it dark now, I dare ya. Stick around for a while, and I'm going to unscare ya. Now when you were young and most things were quite swell, fear knocked on your door with a product to sell. And like most good salesmen, he'd cast quite a spell while selling insurance called All Is Not Well. Now, All Is Not Well came in its own case, the case that there's danger all over the place. And after you bought it, your All Is Not Well, you felt it your duty to share and to tell. And so mouth to mouth was how fear procreated, with no YouTube or Facebook to disseminate it. Fear soon went viral all over the globe, using old-time religion to dispense and promote. 'Cause fear knew the way to get globally big was to drive a false wedge between God and her kids. That's how he came to be so domineering, by replacing God loving with, you must be God fearing. Then fear and religion began co-creating and cooked up a symbol of fear they called Satan, as if infinite love had a worthy opponent with pitchfork in hand who could pounce any moment. The concept was great for maintaining control, making people behave as if they're on parole. 'Cause when God-fearing people are scared for their souls, they put much more silver and gold in the bowls. So business was booming and fear kept on spreading, and fear loved the credit the devil was getting. 'Cause fear itself likes to stay hidden from view and play hide and seek in its host, which is you. I'm not afraid, I'm just angry, it shouts. I've been mistreated and need to speak out. I'm not afraid, I'm upset and I'm caring. There's so many disguises that fear enjoys wearing. He's proud of his wardrobe because he designed it. Though he may not admit it, fear's quite clothes-minded. So he doesn't realize that he's often dressed funny, wearing layers of worry, looking like a stress bunny. And if you're not looking, he dresses you, too, in stress bunny outfits that don't become you. 'Cause when you wear worry, it wears tight and stiff, from statically clinging to imagined what-ifs. Worst-case scenarios fill your projector. Then fear says, don't worry, I'll be your protector. He shows you his life insurance policy and says, here's what you get when you sign up with me. You get top-notch around-the-clock security, an armored alarm system on your body. And if you're harassed, I'm your personal bouncer. And for making decisions, I'll be your guidance counselor. No more will I let you take risks that could hurt you. Just stick with me, kid. I will never desert you. Now all of your loved ones have already signed. Don't be a black sheep. Join the flock. You'll be fine. So you signed up and breathed a big sigh of relief, 'cause you thought you'd feel safer with fear as your chief. But the contract had fine print, too fine to be seen, and you didn't read the clause that denied you your dreams. From then on, heart's desires that came to be birthed were blocked by your fears before they could reach earth. It seemed your new policy's whole life protection was more birth controlling than most contraception. How could you give birth to a life more abundant with fear in your ear like a cable news pundit who's yelling, I'm telling the truth, fair and balanced, while drowning out most of your love, gifts, and talents? Now, fear says, get real. That's his bottom line thing. And fear learned what's real from his friend, Stephen King, whose collection of books make outstanding addictions as long as you realize you are reading
Fiction.
which is what you can do with your own fear collection. Just transfer them all to your mind's fiction section. 'Cause no matter how gripping a tale fear can tell, its original premise that all is not well is a bit topsy-turvy in this universe and deserves to be laughed off the face of the earth. While you are laughing, you let in the light, which makes fear pack his bags and get on the next flight. 'Cause he needs to feel needed, and when you choose joy, fear has no choice but to be unemployed. He used to feel needed when lions were chasing you, gathering speed with intentions of tasting you. But nowadays, the lions we find are fictional cats roaming round in our minds. And when you stop feeding the cats in your head, they just go away 'cause they're not getting fed. And with a clear head, you are free now to choose a channel that's broadcasting much better news. So you get off your couch and turn off the TV and tune into WLOVE. It's got no commercials, nothing to sell, just a steady reminder that all is quite well. And all is quite well is insurance enough. You're already covered by a plan you can trust. You've got universal, the original plan, and there's never a moment you're not in good hands. You're no longer buying fear's insurance scam, 'cause you know every moment you're in good hands. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.